All right, let's jump right in. Today we're going to unpack an incredible story from the Quran about two angels sent down to Earth, a crazy trial involving magic, and a lesson so profound it might just change how you see every single challenge in your life. But first, I want to start with this number, 40%. According to our source material, this is the divorce rate in many Arab and Islamic countries right now. Think about that. Out of every 10 couples, 4 end up separating. It's a real crisis. It's truly a heartbreaking statistic. And, when relationships break down like that, it's so easy to feel scared and powerless. But what if? What if the secret to overcoming that very fear is actually hidden inside an ancient story about magic? A type of magic, by the way, that was specifically known to separate couples. To find that secret, we have to travel way back in time and meet the two main characters of this story. So our story is anchored right here, in the Quran, in the 2nd chapter. And this verse introduces us to two angels, Harut and Marut, and it tells us exactly where their test went down, the ancient city of Babylon. So why Babylon? Well, it wasn't just some random spot on the map. It was a thriving metropolis, a center of civilization, wealth, and power. But most importantly, it was a place where magic was everywhere, which made it the perfect stage for a test of faith and temptation. And that's exactly what this was, a trial. You see, these angels weren't just sent to Earth to hang out. They were sent to face a test that would shake them to their very core. And this right here is the heart of their test. See, angels in their natural state do nothing but praise God. They don't have desires, they can't sin. But for this specific trial, Harut and Marut were given human instincts, that vulnerability to temptation, the pull of desire, that constant inner battle between right and wrong. They were basically angels walking around with human hearts. Now, their mission was super specific. They were supposed to teach people about magic, but only as a warning. And with every single person they taught, they had to give this exact disclaimer. We are only a trial, so do not disbelieve. Their entire job was to expose magic for what it was, a harmful science that, as the source says, could even tear a husband and wife apart. But here's where the story takes a tragic turn. Despite being angels, those new human desires, they were just too powerful. They were tempted, and they fell. They completely failed their test. And when they were given a choice of punishment, they chose to be punished here on Earth because they couldn't bear the thought of the eternal punishment in the next life. Now, the story of their fall is really dramatic, right? But believe it or not, that's just the setup for the real lesson. The most important part of this whole story is a single, powerful idea hidden right in the middle of it. As the Quran tells their story, it includes this tiny little phrase. It's so easy to miss, but it holds the entire remedy for the fear that magic or any other bad thing can cause. There it is. Just a few simple words. The verse says that the people learning magic couldn't harm anyone, except by permission of Allah. This little phrase changes everything. So what does that actually mean? Well, it's a concept called divine permission. It's the principle that absolutely nothing, not magic, not jealousy, not a single thing, can happen unless God allows it to. The person doing magic isn't the one with the ultimate power. The Creator is. And this just shows the other path so perfectly. Unlike the angels who fell, the prophet Yusuf or Joseph faced a really intense temptation too. But look at how he reacted. He immediately turned to God for protection. He chose to go to prison rather than sin. And in the end, he was rewarded for it. He understood where the real power was. Okay, so great story. But what does this has to do with us today, right? Well, this concept is presented as the ultimate remedy for all our fears. And the source makes it really clear that this principle doesn't just apply to magic. We're talking about envy, the evil eye, getting sick, financial problems. Look at this list. Basically everything we worry about. Even life and death themselves fall under this rule. And just to drive the point home, another verse from the Quran says the exact same thing, making it a universal law. What this means is that even if something bad happens and there's an obvious cause, the ultimate green light, that comes from a higher authority. And this understanding, according to the source, is a direct path to inner peace. It's about a shift in focus. You stop being afraid of the things or people that could harm you, and you focus only on the one who gives permission. It's about handing over your worries and putting your full trust in a higher power. So, after this wild story of fallen angels, ancient magic, and temptation, what's the one thing you should really walk away with? It's this. The core message is that when you truly, deeply believe in this principle of divine permission, that belief has the power to just dissolve fear. When you're convinced that no one and nothing can truly help you or harm you without God's say-so, the source says that even mountains of worries can just vanish. And that brings us to one final thought. Just think about it for a second. If you really lived by this worldview, believing that every single event, good or bad, first had to get a permission slip from the creator of the universe, what would you stop being afraid of today?